Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. So it's my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to do Waving to Granny crochet blanket. This is an idea of starting with the granny squares right here in this bottom section, and then you work up to do a wave. If you really struggled to do wave or chevron blankets, this is the way to do it. It's a lot more easier, and then I'll explain a little bit more about what's happening in today's project. So what we have here is we have a whole idea of these granny squares that are all attached to each other, and then the wave is then worked up over the chair and then down to the other side. Then what happens is that the crocheter then turns it upside down and then does the wave just for a few sections then on the bottom of these granny squares then afterwards. So really the reality is that you can place these squares anywhere in this Afghan, but it is the starting point. So whether you want it at the halfway part, if you want it at the top, there'll only be one row going across. So let me show you what these look like up close, and then I'm going to show you how to do this pattern today. So here's what these squares look like. They have a beautiful rounded off edge right in the middle, and then we're using Caron 1-pound yarn today, a size I, 5.5 millimeter crochet hook in order to play. So what we have is that once we get the round established, that we only have two rounds then of regular granny square, and then what's gonna happen is that we're gonna go up and down in the chevron in order to do it. So the distance of the chevron is from this point to this point, so you can see this is gonna be the depth of it, and what I'm gonna show you today is how to do one of these squares, and then I'm gonna show you how to attach them. So you have to do one completely by itself, and then the next one gets attached to it, and you attach in the final revolution as you do these things. So when you come around you attach. So usually in the corners it's chaining a 3 and then moving on, but when you attach it's chain 1, slip stitch to the neighbor, chain 1, and then continue along with the same square. So what you want to do is that you want to get the distance that you need. So if you want a certain size blanket that maybe is not in the pattern, you just have to do a multiple of these and just lay them out on something, and as soon as you have enough across, that'll be your width, and then the Afghan certainly works just straight up from the edges, just like you see going all the way to the top. So without further ado, let's show you how to do these particular squares, and then I'm going to show you how to do the chevron stuff after. So on page number 3 you're going to see that there's a diagram, and basically up until this point is just the one square by itself, and then they attach. You can see it, chain 1, slip stitch, and then attach, and then this is the next one, and you keep working across until you get the number of squares that you need. And then what happens is that you come back and then you start doing the chevron, going up and down and back and forth, and then you can turn it upside down if you wish as well and do the other side the exact same way. So where it appears in the Afghan is completely subjective to you. Don't worry about any of my writing here. I was making some other notes. So let's begin to do the square next. So let's begin a slip knot, and we're going to start off. We're using an I, size 5.5 millimeter crochet hook in Caron 1-pound yarn today. So we're going to begin, and we're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I want you to insert your hook into the beginning chain and yarning over, pulling it through, and you have the center ring of your square, and I want you to use the straggler, the loose end, and just wrap it around as if it's part of it, and then we're gonna get that into position. Let's move on now to round number 1. Let's begin round number 1. We're gonna chain up 3, and this is gonna be part of like a cluster work as we go. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna put the next 2 together into the center of the ring. So wrap it and going into the center, pull through 2 and hold it. So don't finish that double crochet. So do that again. So wrap the hook into the center of the ring, pull through 2 and hold it, and now you have 3 on the hook. This is the very beginning one, so you're only gonna have 3. So pull through all 3. So to separate these clusters you have to chain a total of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and now I want you to do the same configuration again. So wrap the hook going into the center of the ring and pull through 2 and hold. Then wrap it, center of the ring, pull through 2 and hold, and just keep collecting them until you get 4 loops on the hook. So the very first time you ever do this one, there's only gonna be 3 loops on the hook. Any other time there will always be 4. So pull through all 4 once you get there, and then chain 3 and do it again. So you wanted to get a total count of 8 of those working all the way into the center of your ring. Okay, so then separate them with the chain 3 and continue along. So I'll see at the end of this round, just make sure you get a total of 8 of those done, and I'll show you how to finish this round and move on to round number 2. You're gonna notice that the middle section is gonna run out of space. Just move things around. You're just working around the ring and make sure you get all 8 of those clusters in there. So it's gonna be nice and tight, but once you move on to the next round everything is gonna balance itself out. So here's the 8th one. Now to attach it to the beginning one you have to chain 3 and then just attach it to the top of the first cluster that you had. So make sure that there's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So let's fasten that off. Let's introduce the secondary color. In my case it'll be green. You can do different colors if you want to. It's all completely subjective to your creativity, and just go with it. So just weave in your ends and then see me back here in just a moment. We'll begin the next round together. So we're gonna begin, and let's create a slip knot. Now this next round it looks confusing in the pattern, but it's really not. It's just a matter of how you visualize it. So you have 8 groups of these clusters. So in between each group of the cluster there's always gonna be the same thing. So let's just attach it. Go right into the space in between a cluster, attach it with a slip stitch and then chain 3 and then do a cluster. So this is the beginning one, so just wrap, pull through 2 and do it one more time, and there will only be 3 loops on the very first one. So because we're in the middle of 2 clusters here, each one of the clusters is gonna have the same thing. So you want to chain 3 and then into the same space you want to put another cluster. So essentially all 8 spaces are gonna have 2 clusters that are separated by chain 3 spaces. So right where as we go now we're gonna chain up 1. So after we get these 2 group we chain up 1 and then we move to the next one. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a cluster, okay, and then chain 3 and then cluster again into the same spot. So the chain 3 that exists is only to separate the clusters in the same spot. So now we're gonna move to the next one. So we chain only 1 and then move to the next one and then start our cluster again. So how many chains are gonna be separating the clusters when they're sharing the same space? 3. Okay, and then throw in your second cluster into the same spot. And then how many chains exist when you're about to jump to a new spot? Just 1. You get that? So please do that same idea going all the way around and fill in all those spaces with your clusters that you're doing there right now. So I'm coming up to the final space. So I'm just making sure I'm getting it all in. And to join it to the top of the first one we have to chain 1 first because we're separating the 2, right? These are a group and this is a group. So we just chain 1 and just attach. And we're gonna get rid of this color now. So just fasten this off, weave in your ends, and we have 2 more rounds to go, which are the blue, and then we're gonna continue with the chevron then after that. So please do that and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So as we continue now we're gonna now convert our circle into a square. So what you want to do is want to pay attention to where the clusters are. So where everything is when a cluster is being separated by the same space. Do you see that? So that's where that goes into, and then the next part is when the next cluster where it's being separated. So right where the chain 1s that separate the 2 groups there's nothing there, and if you can remember that it becomes a lot easier too. So let's begin this round. So let's begin this round. We're going to start off with the slip knot onto your hook first. And I want you to grab this and I want you to grab a chain 3 space. So see where it can be any one, doesn't matter as long as it's in between a group here and it's in chain 3 space. And I want you to insert your hook right into the space itself and attach it with the slip knot or slip stitch, sorry, and then chain up 3, counts as a double crochet, and then chain double crochet 2 more times. So this is not a corner, so just as you're aware if you're following it in the pattern as well. So now what I want you to do is chain 1 and now just go into the next chain 3 space. It's right over here. See how these 2 are being separated by the chain 3. So that's gonna be your first corner and it's gonna be 3 double crochet followed by chain 3 and 3 double crochet. So that is how you turn a corner. So we're converting now a circle into a square. So chain 1 and so go into the next one. It's a chain 3 space and that's gonna be only 3 double crochets. So this is like a edge and not a corner. And then once you get that done, chain 1 and then go into the next one over here, the chain 3 space, and do another corner. So it's 3 double crochet, followed by chain 3 and 3 double crochet into the same spot, and you work your way around just like that. So chain 1 after you're done, go into the next one. It's a chain 3 space, 3 double crochets into the same one, and continue that same thing going all the way around to complete this round just like you see. As you come all the way around, right when you started was not a corner, so we just finished off this corner. Chain 1 first and then slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain 3. So we have one more round to do of these, and in the next round this is what determines if it's gonna be attached or not. So let's just quickly review that. So if this is your very first square and you don't have anything else, then what happens is that you're gonna continue your next round and complete it as if it's not attached to anything, because it can't be, right, because it's your first one. But if this is not your first one, then what you have to just be mindful of is that you're going to attach as you go, and you're gonna attach in the diagonal. So the very first time it doesn't matter which one that you attach to, but any other one, it should be absolutely diagonal to each other in order to keep that line going across. So as you move up into the next round, you're going to slip stitch just across until the next chain 1 space, and then you're gonna continue this revolution. So chaining up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and double crochet 2 more times into the same spot, and then chain 1 and then turn your first corner. So the next one is 3 double crochet. It's already what you already know, and then chain 3 and then 3 double crochet. So if this is your very first one, each one of the corners is gonna be done exactly what I just showed you, but if it's not, then what happens is that the next corner here you want to attach it to your neighbor. So chain up 1 and just keep moving along in the spaces just with 3 double crochets in each. So chain up 1, 3 double crochet into the next one because you're not right on the end of the corner yet. Chain 1 and here's your next corner. So if you want to attach to your neighbor, you're gonna start off and you're gonna chain 3. Sorry, you're gonna double crochet 3 times. And instead of chaining 3, what you want to do is chain 1 and then just get your neighbor and making sure it is diagonal, and you're gonna come up from underneath to your neighbor's spot and pull through and through, and then chain 1, and then you're gonna finish off this square again. So you just keep finishing the other side. So 3 double crochets, and so now this square is permanently attached on a diagonal to the other squares that you see. So you just continue along. So chain up 1, fill in your spaces with 3 double crochets in each, do your corners as you already know with 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and do that all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. To finish off this square, you're just gonna go right into the space right prior. Okay, so it's 3 and then chain up 1 and attach, and then you're gonna fasten off. So there's a total of 7 squares that go across this particular Afghan. It doesn't matter on how many that you do. So if you want a smaller version, you can just do less, and if you want to do maybe something for a king size or queen size or double size project, you can just obviously do more. It doesn't matter in the next part of this tutorial on how many that there is, because it's the same, because you're just creating the ups and downs for the chevron as you're going. So I'm just weaving in the ends now, and then we're gonna just review and then get ourselves to show you how to do the chevrons next. Our goal is pretty simple. So here is your squares. I know it's hard to tell, but these are your squares here, and all we're just gonna do now is that we're gonna go up and down in a formation. I've used Karen Big Cakes for this. You can see it's really quite awesome, and it changes color on its own if you would like to be able to have that concept. So what happens is that we're gonna go up and then up over top, and then we'll come back down. So the trick is that you have to watch the edges when you go to do that, and you have to watch the center point as you do it. Once you establish though what you're doing with this, it's actually really easy, and again it's just a matter of adding as many as you want, because the ups and downs are all gonna be the same. The trick is that when you get started, you make sure that all the squares are facing straight up when you go to do it, and then once you do the first pass, then they won't be able to switch around on you. So our goal now is to get started, and let's review that process next. So the nice thing about this particular pattern is that each one of the rows are absolutely identical to each other, and so what happens in this is that you can get started on this side and go as high as you need to go, and then once you're satisfied with that, you can just turn this upside down So just turn it upside down and do the other side and go as deep as you want to go. So you can see in the pattern that it has a really awesome look. You can make this as the center part of your Afghan if you wish, and then have it go down either side. It doesn't matter because the starting point is the same regardless if it's facing up or if it's facing the other way. It doesn't matter. So let's just grab our yarn and let's get you started on the edge, and it's all a matter about how you get started to establish this, and then once you get started it's really quite easy. So you're gonna go right into the corner space and you're going to just insert in, and you're going to attach with the slip stitch just like you see there, and you're gonna do a total chaining of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and in the same space I want you to put in 3 double crochets together. So actually only 2 together. So just going in, pull through 2 and hold, and then wrap again, in, pull through 2 and hold, and then pull through all 3 loops. So that's gonna be how you're gonna be able to do your very beginning as you go. So to continue up the mountain, so I'm gonna refer to the tops as the mountains and the valleys are gonna be in between, is that you're gonna chain up 1 and you're gonna go to the next chain 1 space and you're gonna put in 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 1 and continue to go up the mountain. So I've already done another tutorial where the squares are not as big, so the mountain peaks are not as high, but it's the same concept of what you see. So chain 1 and keep on going. So right when you get to the top of the mountain, we need to go up over top of the mountain, and it's gonna be the same thing as what you've been doing all along, as if it's part of a square. So chain up 1. So just like you had been doing with the square, it's gonna be 3 double crochet, and then chain 3 and 3 double crochet into the same one. So that gets you up over top of the mountain. That's gonna happen every time you hit the top of the mountain, so that's nothing special. So now what we have to do is that we have to come down the mountain, but now we have to watch for this space here before the join. So here's where they're joined. You wanna look for this space and this space because these two are gonna become connected. So let's just work our way down the space. So chain up 1 first, and then 3 double crochet into the first space, and then chain 1, and then next space. It's not where it's supposed to be connected yet, so we're just gonna fill it in with 3 double crochet, and let's see where we are. So here's where they're connected. So this space and this space over here are to be connected this time. So chain 1 first, and we're gonna put in just a cluster. So put in there. So just wrap the hook going in, pull through 2 and hold it, and now same one, wrap through, pull through 2 and hold. And you want to do that a total of 3 times so that you end up with 4 loops on the hook. So then pour through all 4 loops. Now don't chain 1, don't do anything, just immediately jump to the next space that's available to you right over here. I know it's a long way away, but it's really not, and just do the same thing. So wrap, pull through 2 and hold, and do that total 3 times. And you'll end up with 4 loops on the hook and pull through all 4 loops. So you can see that they just became one, and you can see that the angle has not changed at all, so it's perfectly aligned, and now you're gonna chain 1 to work your way up the top of the mountain. So then each space is going to get 3 double crochets into each. And then what are you gonna do at the tops? Well, it's just like what we learned before, is that it's always gonna be the same. 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So what I'll do is I'll get up over here and I'll meet you down in this section once again, down in the valley, just to show you how to do that one more time. So as you come down the mountain, what you have to do is the space before the join right here, and the space after the join is gonna become together. So to do that, I've already done my chain 1, so you're gonna put a cluster in this one. Okay, once you get your 4 loops, pull through, and then just immediately cluster into the space after the join on the other side. And you do that every time you're hitting in between. And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna do one more row, because this is gonna be slightly different next time around, but it's really quite easy as well. And then after you get that done, chain up 1 and continue along. So you can see that this just joined like the top of the other one already. So please do that, and what I'm gonna do is gonna meet you at the end of this row, so just go up and down as you know it, and then I'll see you at the end of the row and show you how to finish that one. So I'm working across, so eventually you'll hit to the other side and you're gonna work your way all the way until you hit that corner space. And it's the very corner right here. So in the very corner, what you want to just do is how you started it in the very beginning. You want to do a sorry, I was about to do a cluster there. It's not. Just got the space left. I was supposed to explain how to do it. That's why I did it. So there we go. So then chain one, and so the final corner is going to be the same thing. So it's just a cluster of putting the 3 into the same one, and then just fasten it off, like, or just pull it through. So now you're going to turn. So here's the trick. You're in the wrong spot when you go to start the next round. So even if you change your color, it doesn't matter. You have to get to this chain one space right here. So to do that, just insert your hook in and pull through and through, and then that moves your hook over. So you're thinking, well, that doesn't look right. But remember that this is a diamond shape, right? So it's gonna go straight up. So now you're gonna start with what you already know. So the starting is just like what you did before. You're gonna chain up 3 and you're gonna put the first 2 together. And that'll keep that consistent going straight up, as you can see. Then chain 1 and work your way to the top of the mountain. So each chain 1 space is gonna have 3 double crochets in it. And then in the top of the mountain, just like what you already know, it's 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So what I'll do is that I'll get over the mountain and then I'll review on how to do this section right here, because it slightly changes because the gap spacing are here and here. It's on the either side of the cluster, just like you see, and then they'll always be in that same position going all the way up from this particular point. It's just the very first time it looks slightly different than the way it's gonna look right now, and it's really quite awesome. So I'm going down the other side of the mountain and I'm about to hit the valley really soon, and I'm looking for the space right before the cluster was in the original. So it's right here. Okay, so that's the space that I'm looking for, and I continue to go down as I normally would of 3 double crochets into each of the spaces. So I can tell that this cluster space here is the last one before going up the other side. So chain 1 first, and then I want to cluster into that same space. So put your 3 together there. And then not chain 1 or anything, just come to the other space on the other side of the other cluster and do the same thing. Okay, so you can see it just jumped across, as you can see, and now chain 1 and work your way up. So every time you hit the bottom of your valleys, that's exactly what you're gonna do, just the way I showed you there. So please do that going up and down all the way to the end, and I'm gonna show you how to review and get to the very other side, and then I'll show you how to restart again, and then the rest is just history. And if you want to do this again on the other side of this, just again start right side facing up and then just continue with what you already know and work your way down the other side. So I'll see you at the end of this row. When you get to the other side, all you're just looking for is the final space. Okay, so it's the final space that before the final section right here. So it's right there is what we're looking for, and in that space we're gonna do exactly what you already know of just doing your 3 clusters into that space only. So chain 1, so into the space just put your 3 together. So you're gonna do that every time you hit to the edge of your project. So remember, we're gonna turn our work, and right where we are is not where we need to be. We need to be shifting over into the first chain 1 space. So just insert your hook into the chain 1 space, grab the yarn, pull through and through, and then begin again. So just chain up 3 and then put your first 2 together, and that's always gonna be the way that you're gonna start, and then chain 1 and then work your way up. So you're going to do you have 3 double crochets and you're gonna go up the mountain and then back down. Remember, the clusters are right just after this one right here. Put those 2 together, and well, the cluster here and here, and it will look like they're together. Do that all the way across, and then on the final you will end in the space right before the final edge, doing exactly what you just did with the 3 clusters. And this is how you do up and down. So if you want to start the other side, then let me just back out the camera here. So if you want to start the other side, all you just need to do, just turn it over and just start right on the same edge, and then just work your way back up and down the other side, and then that's how you can determine where you want to place it within your Afghan. So this is a really cool Afghan. This is a free pattern by yarnspirations.com. On behalf of the Crochet Crowd, I'm your host Mikey. Enjoy, and hopefully you've enjoyed today's tutorial. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.